What if the reason your rizq is not increasing has nothing to do with your effort, but everything to do with something inside you? You wake up every day trying harder. You make dua with hope. You wait, and still nothing changes. And deep inside, a question starts to hurt. Ya Allah, why is nothing opening for me? But what if Allah is not closing your doors? What if He is protecting you while waiting for you to fix something that is silently blocking everything? Something you do without realizing, something you carry inside your heart. Because the truth is, rizq is not only about how much you work, it is about your connection with Allah. And sometimes, one hidden sin, one broken intention, one unseen flaw can stop the flow of barakah from your life completely. This is not just a reminder. This is something most people never understand, even after years. So don't skip this, because what you're about to hear might be the reason your rizq has been delayed and the key to finally opening every door. Your rizq is bigger than money, but you've been looking too small. Most people think rizq means one thing: money, a good salary, a successful business, a full bank account. And because of that, they spend their whole life chasing numbers, but slowly, without realizing, they begin to feel empty. Because rizq was never just money. Rizq is everything Allah gives you every single day in ways you don't even notice. It is the moment you wake up and your heart feels light. It is the peace you feel when your mind is not drowning in stress. It is the quiet night where you sleep without fear. It is the friend who stays when everyone else leaves. It is the family that still cares even when you are not perfect. It is your health, your breath, your ability to walk, to see, to think. These are not small things. These are some of the greatest forms of rizq. But because they are always with you, you stop seeing them. And when you stop seeing them, you start feeling like you have nothing. Look around. There are people with everything money can buy, but they are tired inside. They smile in front of others, but cry when they are alone. Their homes are big, but their hearts feel empty. And then there are people with very little, but their hearts are calm. They smile easily. They sleep peacefully. They live with contentment. That is rizq, because real richness is not what you own. It is how you feel inside. If your heart is at peace, you are rich, even if your wallet is not full. And if your heart is restless, you will always feel poor, no matter how much you have. This is why some people keep earning more, but never feel satisfied, because they are searching for peace in places where it does not live. Peace is a rizq that only Allah gives. And sometimes, Allah holds back money, not because He wants to deprive you, but because He wants to teach you something first. He wants you to open your eyes, to see the blessings you already have, to feel gratitude for what is already in your life. Because if you cannot see what you have now, you will not appreciate what comes later. And when gratitude enters your heart, something beautiful happens. Even small things start to feel big. Even ordinary moments start to feel special. Your life may not change overnight, but your heart will, and that is where true rizq begins. So don't only ask Allah for more money, ask Him for a heart that feels rich, because when your heart becomes rich, everything else starts to follow. One hidden sin can silently shut your doors of rizq. There are things we do that no one knows about, no one sees, no one hears, no one questions. A private habit, a quiet sin, a moment of disobedience that we convince ourselves is not a big deal. But in reality, nothing is small when it comes to our relationship with Allah, because even if people don't see, Allah sees. And sometimes, that one hidden sin becomes a silent barrier between you and your rizq, not in an obvious way. You won't see a sign saying blocked, but you will feel it. Things stop flowing. You try harder, but results don't come. Opportunities get close, then suddenly disappear. You make dua, but it feels like your words are not going anywhere. And deep inside, there is a heaviness you cannot explain. This is how sin works. It doesn't always destroy everything at once. Sometimes, it slowly closes doors, one by one. It creates a distance between you and Allah. And when that connection weakens, the barakah in your life begins to fade. The scary part is, you may not even realize what is causing it because the sin feels normal. You've done it so many times, it no longer feels wrong. But your soul knows, your heart feels the weight, even if your mind ignores it. And this is where everything changes, because the moment you recognize it and you turn back to Allah sincerely, everything can open again. Not because you became perfect, but because you chose Allah over your desire. Think about that. A sin you do in secret can block doors in public, and a repentance you make in secret can open doors you never expected. Allah is not waiting to punish you. He is waiting for you to return, to leave that one thing for His sake, even if it is hard, even if it feels like a part of you, because what you give up for Allah, He replaces it with something better. Better peace, better opportunities, better rizq. So don't ignore the small things. Sometimes, the biggest blockage in your life is something you do when no one is watching. And the moment you let it go, you may find your life changing in ways you never imagined. Your intention decides whether your rizq has barakah or not. There are people who earn a lot, but feel no peace. And there are people who earn little, yet live with calmness and satisfaction. From the outside, it looks the same. Money is coming in, work is being done, but inside, the experience is completely different. Why? Because rizq is not only about how much you earn, it is about how your rizq feels. And that feeling comes from your intention. Ask yourself honestly, why are you working? Is it only to show others that you are successful? Is it to prove something to people who doubted you? Is it to chase status, respect, and validation? Or is it to earn halal, to provide with dignity, to please Allah? This question may seem simple, but it changes everything, because when your intention is mixed with ego, your rizq loses its light. You may still earn, but it feels heavy. You feel pressure instead of peace. You feel stress instead of satisfaction. Nothing ever feels enough, because your heart is chasing people, not Allah. And people can never give your heart rest. But when your intention becomes clean, when you wake up and say, Ya Allah, I work to earn what is halal. I work to take care of my responsibilities. I work so you are pleased with me. Something begins to change. The same job feels lighter. The same income feels enough. The same life feels more peaceful, because now your rizq carries barakah. Barakah is something you cannot measure. It is not about more numbers. It is about more goodness in what you already have. A small amount becomes sufficient. A simple life becomes fulfilling. Your time feels more productive. Your heart feels more content. And the most beautiful part is, barakah makes things grow in ways you don't expect. You spend, but it doesn't feel like loss. You earn, and it feels like it stays. You live, and it feels like ease. All of this begins from something hidden. Your intention. No one sees it. No one praises it. But Allah knows it, and Allah gives according to it. So don't just focus on what you are doing. Focus on why you are doing it, because a pure intention can turn ordinary work into worship. And when your work becomes worship, your rizq is no longer just income. It becomes a source of peace, reward, and lasting blessing. The way you treat people is secretly controlling your provision. Many people spend years trying to increase their rizq by improving their skills, working longer hours, and searching for better opportunities. But they overlook something much deeper and more powerful. And that is how they treat the people around them on a daily basis. You may be praying regularly, making dua, and trying your best to stay consistent in your efforts. But if your behavior with others is harsh, careless, or filled with arrogance, then without realizing it, you may be closing doors that no amount of effort alone can open. The way you speak to people, the tone you use, the respect you show, and even the small moments where you choose patience over anger or kindness over pride, all play a role in your rizq. Because Allah is not only looking at your ibadat, He is also looking at how you deal with His creation. Sometimes a person loses opportunities not because they are not qualified, but because their character pushes people away. And sometimes another person receives unexpected help, support, and openings simply because their heart is soft, their manners are gentle, and people feel peace around them. You might think that success comes from connections, But what creates those connections in the first place is your character. Because people naturally open doors for those who respect them, listen to them, and treat them with sincerity and humility. There are moments when a single harsh word can break a relationship that could have been a source of risk, and there are also moments when a simple act of kindness can create a path that leads to opportunities you never imagined. Allah places acceptance in the hearts of people for those who carry good character, and when people feel comfortable with you, trust you, and respect you, doors begin to open not because you forced them open, but because Allah made them open for you through the hearts of others. On the other hand, when someone constantly hurts others, ignores their rights, or behaves with pride and selfishness, they may not immediately see the consequences, but slowly things begin to tighten, opportunities become fewer, and relationships become weaker, and they are left wondering why things are not working despite their efforts. It is important to understand that rizq does not always come directly. Sometimes it comes through people, through a recommendation, through a kind word, through someone remembering you at the right moment. And when your behavior damages those bridges, you unknowingly block the very paths that could have carried your provision to you. Being kind is not weakness, and being humble does not reduce your value. In fact, these qualities elevate you in ways that money and status never can, because they bring you closer to Allah and closer to the hearts of people at the same time. So take a moment and reflect on your daily interactions, how you speak to your family, how you treat those who cannot benefit you, how you respond when you are angry, and how you behave when no one is watching. Because these small moments are not small in the sight of Allah. If you begin to correct your character, soften your heart, control your tongue, and treat people with sincerity and respect, you may start to notice a shift in your life. Not always immediately, but gradually. Doors begin to open, things begin to flow, and ease begins to enter your affairs. Because sometimes the reason your rizq feels blocked is not a lack of effort, but a lack of gentleness. Not a lack of skill, but a lack of humility. And the moment you fix how you treat people, Allah may fix what you thought was never going to change. Your complaints may be destroying the blessings you already have. There is something very quiet but very dangerous that many people fall into without realizing it, and that is constant complaining about life, about what they don't have, about what didn't work out, and about how things are not going the way they expected. At first, it feels normal, because everyone around you is doing the same thing. Everyone is comparing. Everyone is talking about what they are missing. And slowly this mindset becomes a habit that lives inside your heart. You wake up and instead of noticing what you have, your mind immediately focuses on what is not there, what is lacking, what is delayed, and what others have that you don't. And without realizing it, you begin to live in a state of shortage, even if you are surrounded by blessings. Because complaining does not just affect your words, it affects your vision. It changes what you see. It makes you blind to what Allah has already given you. You may have health, but you don't notice it until you lose it. You may have peace, but you ignore it while chasing more. You may have people who care for you, but you take them for granted while focusing on what is missing. This is how complaints slowly destroy blessings, not by removing them instantly, but by removing your ability to feel them, to appreciate them, and to recognize their value. And when you stop appreciating something, you stop protecting it, you stop valuing it, and eventually it begins to fade from your life. Allah has made a clear promise that if you are grateful, He will increase you. But if you are ungrateful, then you risk losing what you already have. And many people misunderstand this, thinking gratitude is just saying a few words. But true gratitude is deeper than that. It is when your heart feels it, when your eyes notice blessings, when your tongue speaks positively, and when your actions reflect appreciation. When you truly become grateful, something powerful begins to happen inside you. Your focus shifts from what is missing to what is present. Your heart feels lighter, your mind becomes calmer, and your life starts to feel more complete, even if nothing externally has changed yet. And then slowly, without you even chasing it, increase begins to come. not always in the way you expected, but in ways that bring ease, peace, and barakah into your life. But when a person continues to complain, even if they receive more, it never feels enough, because the problem was never the amount, it was the mindset, and no amount can satisfy a heart that refuses to see what it already has. There are people who earn more every year, yet they feel more stressed every year. And there are others whose life is simple, yet their hearts feel full, and the difference is not in what they have, but in how they see it. Complaining turns blessings into burdens, while gratitude turns even small things into treasures. So take a moment and listen to your own words. How often do you complain? How often do you compare? How often do you focus on what is missing instead of what is present? Because these patterns are not harmless. They are shaping your experience of life every single day. When you begin to replace complaints with gratitude, even intentionally at first, you will start to notice things you never noticed before. The small comforts, the hidden ease, the quiet moments of peace. And these are all forms of rizq that were always there, but you were too distracted to see them. And as your heart changes, your life begins to change with it, because Allah increases those who recognize His blessings. And sometimes the reason your rizq feels blocked is not because you don't have enough, but because you have not yet learned how to truly see what you already have. The relationship you broke may be the key to your rizqs. There are relationships in your life that did not end by accident. A family member you stopped talking to, a relative you slowly distanced yourself from, a bond that once had warmth but is now cold and silent. Maybe you were hurt, maybe you were disappointed, maybe you felt you had every right to walk away. And from your side, it made sense. But what many people do not realize is that relationships are not only emotional connections, they are also spiritual connections. And when those connections break, something deeper is affected inside your life. In Islam, maintaining ties is not just a good habit. It is something Allah connects directly with barakah, an expansion in rizq. And cutting those ties, even when it feels justified, can slowly bring tightness into your life without you understanding why. You may continue working, planning, and trying, but something feels blocked. Things don't flow the way they used to. Opportunities don't come as easily. There is a heaviness you cannot explain. And sometimes, the reason is not outside. It is a relationship that was left broken. Because when the heart holds grudges, it becomes heavy. When you refuse to forgive, that weight stays inside you. And a heavy heart struggles to carry light, struggles to carry barakah, struggles to feel ease. Holding on to anger may feel like strength, but in reality, it slowly drains your peace and closes doors you never see. Allah loves the one who reconnects, even when they were wronged, the one who takes the first step, even when their ego resists, the one who chooses forgiveness, not because the other person deserves it, but because they want what is with Allah. This is not easy. It requires humility. It requires strength. It requires letting go of pride. But what you gain is far greater than what you let go of. Sometimes, the door to your rizq is not in a new job, not in a new plan, not in more effort. It is in a message you have been delaying, a call you have been avoiding, the conversation your heart keeps postponing. And the moment you take that step sincerely, for the sake of Allah, something begins to shift inside you. Your heart feels lighter. Your chest feels open. A weight you carried for so long begins to disappear. And with that lightness comes ease. Because when you fix what is between you and people, Allah begins to fix what is between you and your rizq. It may not happen instantly. It may not look dramatic, but slowly, doors begin to open, situations begin to change, things begin to flow again, not because you forced them, but because Allah placed barakah back into your life. So reflect honestly. Is there someone you need to forgive? Is there a relationship you need to repair? Because sometimes the very thing you are holding on to is the same thing holding your rizq back. Relying only on yourself is blocking Allah's help. Many people believe that success comes only from hard work, planning, and personal effort. So they spend all their energy trying to control every detail of their life, thinking that if they just try harder, think smarter, and push more, everything will finally work out the way they want. There is no doubt that effort is important, and Islam encourages striving, discipline, and responsibility. But the problem begins when a person's heart starts depending only on their own ability, their own intelligence, and their own plans, forgetting that behind every result is the permission of Allah. When you rely only on yourself, you unknowingly place a limit on your life, because your strength is limited, your knowledge is limited, and your control is limited. And no matter how much you improve, you will always remain within those limits. This is why some people work extremely hard but still feel stuck, because they are carrying everything on their own shoulders, trying to force outcomes that are not fully in their control. And this creates constant stress, pressure, and fear of failure. True reliance, or tawakkul, is not about leaving effort. It is about where your heart stands while you are making that effort. Because you can be working hard with your body, but your heart can either depend on you or depend on Allah. And that difference changes everything. When your heart depends only on you, every delay feels like a failure, every obstacle feels like a dead end, and every closed door feels personal. But when your heart depends on Allah, you begin to see things differently. You understand that delays have wisdom, obstacles have purpose, and closed doors are not always rejection, but sometimes redirection. Relying on Allah means you do your best with sincerity. You plan wisely, you take action, but deep inside, you know that the result is not in your hands. And this awareness brings a kind of peace that no amount of control can give. It allows you to sleep at night without overthinking every outcome. It allows you to try again without feeling broken. And it allows you to move forward without being crushed by fear. Because your trust is not in your effort alone. It is in the one who controls all outcomes. When a person truly places their trust in Allah, something remarkable begins to happen. They start receiving help in ways they never expected. Doors begin to open that were never part of their plan, and ease enters situations that once felt complicated. This does not mean life becomes perfect or free of challenges, but it means you are no longer facing those challenges alone, because Allah's help accompanies those who rely on Him sincerely. Sometimes, the reason your rizq feels blocked is not because you are not doing enough, but because you are trying to do everything alone, and Allah wants you to turn back to Him, to recognize your need for Him, and to place your trust where it truly belongs. When you shift from "I can do this alone" to "Ya Allah, I will try my best, but I need you," your entire perspective changes, your heart softens, your stress reduces, and your connection with Allah becomes stronger. And with that connection comes barakah, comes guidance, comes support that cannot be explained by effort alone. Because when you rely on Allah, He takes care of what you cannot control. He opens paths you could not see, and He gives you strength you did not know you had. So continue to work, continue to strive, but do not let your heart become attached only to your own ability, because the moment you truly rely on Allah, you move from limitation to possibility, and what once felt blocked can begin to open in ways you never imagined. Allah isn't denying you, He's delaying to protect you. This is the part that hurts the most, because delay feels like silence, and silence feels like rejection. You make dua again and again. You ask with sincerity. You wait with hope, and yet nothing seems to change. And slowly your heart begins to feel tired, confused, and even a little broken. You start wondering if your dua is being heard, if you are being ignored, or if maybe what you are asking for is simply not written for you. And these thoughts become heavy, especially when you see others receiving what you have been waiting for. But what if the delay is not a sign of denial? What if it is a sign of care? A sign that Allah is protecting you from something you cannot see, something you do not understand yet. Allah sees the full picture while you only see a moment. He knows what is coming next while you only know what you want right now. And sometimes what you want right now is not what is best for your future. There are things you ask for that could harm you if they come too early. There are blessings that require a stronger heart. a better mindset, and a deeper level of faith. And if they were given to you before you are ready, they might become a burden instead of a blessing. So Allah delays, not to deprive you, but to prepare you, not to ignore you, but to protect you, not to push you away, but to bring you closer in a way that strengthens your soul before it fills your hands. During this delay, something important is happening inside you. Even if you cannot see it clearly, your patience is growing, your reliance on Allah is increasing, your understanding of life is deepening, and your heart is slowly being shaped into something stronger and more sincere. Delay teaches you things that instant success never can. It teaches you humility. It teaches you trust. It teaches you how to keep going even when you do not see results. And these lessons are part of your rizq as well, even though they do not look like what you originally asked for. Sometimes, if you look back at your life, you will realize that there were things you once wanted so badly, things you made dua for with all your heart, and today you feel grateful that Allah did not give them to you, because now you can see the harm they would have brought. In the same way, what you are being delayed from today may be something you will later thank Allah for, because His knowledge is perfect and your understanding is limited. And sometimes, the delay is not about the thing itself, but about you becoming the right person to receive it, because a blessing given at the wrong time can destroy, but the same blessing given at the right time can elevate you in ways you never imagined. When your heart becomes ready, when your intention becomes pure, when your connection with Allah becomes stronger, then what comes into your life will not just be rizq, it will be rizq with barakah, rizq that brings peace, stability, and long-term goodness. So do not rush what Allah is delaying. Do not compare your timeline with others, and do not lose hope when things take longer than you expected, because delay does not mean you are forgotten. It means you are being prepared. Trust that Allah knows exactly when to give, exactly how to give, and exactly what to give, and that His timing is always better than yours, even if it does not feel that way right now. One day, what you are waiting for will come, and when it does, you will understand why it had to be delayed. You will see the wisdom, you will feel the difference, and you will realize that it was never late. It was always perfectly timed. So keep making dua, keep trusting, keep moving forward, and remind your heart that Allah is not denying you. He is protecting you, guiding you, and preparing something for you that is far better than what you could have chosen for yourself. Ya Allah, we come to you with hearts that feel heavy, with worries we cannot explain, with silent fears that no one understands but you. Ya Allah, if our rizq has been blocked because of our sins, then forgive us. Forgive what we did knowingly and unknowingly. Forgive what we hid from an-nas but could never hide from you. Clean our hearts and remove every barrier between us and your mercy. Ya Rab, if our intentions are not pure, then purify them. Make everything we do only for your sake. Remove love of showing off. Remove pride, remove ego, and fill our hearts with sincerity and truth. Ya Allah, soften our hearts towards others. If we have hurt anyone, forgive us. If we are holding grudges, remove them. Give us the strength to forgive, to reconnect, and to fix what we have broken for your sake. Ya Rab, make us from those who are truly grateful. Open our eyes to the blessings we already have. Do not let us be among those who complain and forget your favors. Place contentment in our hearts even before you increase us. Ya Allah, teach us to rely on you completely. Protect us from depending only on ourselves. Strengthen our tawakkul and make our hearts firm in trust, even when things are not going our way. Ya Rab, if something we are asking for is not good for us, then keep it away from us and make us content with your decision. And if there is good written for us, then bring it to us with ease, with barakah, and at the perfect time. Ya Allah, open the doors of rizq for us, doors we cannot even imagine. Give us rizq that brings peace, not stress, that brings us closer to you, not further away. Ya Rab, do not make our rizq a test that takes us away from you. but make it a blessing that increases our faith, our gratitude, and our closeness to you. Ya Allah, fix our hearts, because we know that when our hearts are right, everything else becomes right. Ameen.